We're going to go over the whole issue with Job Corps. I'm pretty sure because this is hitting a lot of black communities harder than anybody else. Other communities don't care about this because this doesn't really affect them like that. So Job Corps is pretty much shutting down, and you're going to hear from some of the students on how this is going to affect them, along with some of their family members. So let's take a listen.
Go to the rec at about 1:30, and they broke the news to us, and they had us go to the dorms, pack our stuff.
The staff on site would not say a word to us, but sources tell us it was shut down after recent cuts at the Department of Labor, which oversees the program.
That's
crazy.
crazy.
I didn't want him to be a statistic, so I wanted him to be focused and get his education.
16-year-old Carlton Davis lived here, and his mom recently lost their house, and there's more.
I have breast cancer surgery next week,
Man.
so now I'm debating having my surgery
I feel for
so I can make sure my son is okay.
I'm livid. I am livid. I cannot believe this.
Community activist Pastor Mo trying to help out here after getting calls from frantic mothers. He's worried about the short and long-term solutions for these kids.
Yeah.
The ones who are trying to get it right. This is why I'm so pissed off. These are not kids are in a youth home who got caught in a crime. These are kids who's trying to avoid getting caught in a crime.
Like I said, I just want to highlight that, man. Shout out to this pastor for just being out there and trying to help. You would think, let me just put it to you like this, because I talk about the churches a lot, and I've stated to people that just because you got one or two doesn't mean that the rest are going to follow suit and do the same thing, because they don't. A lot of churches are selfish. This brother right here decided that he saw a problem, and as a black man in the community, he's like, yo, let me try to get out here and do something. As the mother stated, she's in a sense devastated because she doesn't know what she's going to do, because she already lost her home and she has cancer. She has to get treatment, and now she can't really fixate on that because her son, who was, in Job Corps and who was living there, because I guess she might be living from place to place or whatnot, or whatever, however her situation is. Now she has to figure out on if she's going to still do the cancer treatment, or if she's just going to focus on her son. Like I said, situations like this are going to heavily affect the black community more than anybody else. Heavily. And you have a lot of kids that are there at Job Corps trying to do the right thing. And Job Corps is, in a sense, allowing them to not be on the streets. So now just think about it like this, right? A lot of these kids that potentially would have potentially turned to the streets. Job Corps was presented, and they're like, okay, I can sit up there and do this, still get my education. The race is not lost yet. I can still run. Now it's like, what am I going to do now? It's like, how am I going to support myself? How am I going to sit up there and support, my family? Now a lot of these kids going back home, they're going to feel like a burden. I can only imagine how her son feels, knowing the fact that he has to now come back and that his mom, in a sense, has to take care of him when he was, doing for herself, in a sense, trying to, fix everything and, and get things going. Now it's going to be on his mind that, yo, my mom, she really needs this treatment, and she's not going to be able to do it because, I'm here. Right. Like I said, it's crazy work. And like I told people before, just like how everybody does not care when things like this happens in the black community, this is why I say that I don't care when it starts happening to other people's communities. And I'm just going to be honest. Like I said, I'm not like everybody else. I'm going to be 100% honest. I don't. Because people can sit idly by and hear these things going on and taking place and not care, not want to step up, not want to do nothing. But then once it starts hitting their communities, now people want to make a huge fuss, a ruckus. Now people want to highlight it. Now people want to say that it's an epidemic. I don't care. If you didn't care when it first happened, I'm not going to care when it happens to communities 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I'm not going to care. I'm not going to have the energy. I'm not going to sit up there and have the time. It's crazy. Diabolical. Yeah, I'm not even sure what that dude is even saying right now. Let me see. They're not shutting down the ones in the white areas. They're hiding it as the ones run by the Department of Agriculture. I believe it. We got a part 2 to this video too, so let's get directly into it.
Shutting everything down because I ain't got my education. I ain't got my license. I came back here to get my life together, and it's just confusing me how they shut it down.
I needed my high school diploma, all type of stuff. So, but I was working towards that so I can do my CDLs because that was my #1 goal.
A lot of people in here don't got nowhere to go. A lot of people in here trying to change their life around, trying to get a house, trying to get a trade, trying to go to the union, trying to build money up so they can have a better life. Because some people come from
hurting more than you helping. The money is not the issue right now.
At Genesee Job Corps Center, 147 students were focused on building careers. Now they're just trying to figure out what's next.
Let me tell you something. Let me. Where was it? This brother right here. When I was sitting up there looking at him talking, he has like a calm type of hurt, and I understand that. When you are, and this is what I try to say when it deals with America, the relationship between America and Black Americans. This primarily and really only happens to Black Americans. You literally got these young men out here, Black young men. They be like, yo, I understand my failures. I understand what I didn't do in the beginning, but I'm really working right now on trying to get my life right. You heard the one guy. Let me see if I can find him. The young guy directly to the left. He was like, yo, I'm going back trying to, get my diploma and things like that because I want to get my CD. Like the dude, he has a mindset. It's like, yo, I want to drive trucks. It's like, yo, I know what I want to do. This is what I'm fixated on. This is what I'm building towards. And all of that got stripped. It was done purposefully. This is why I told people before that in order to have a problem or to exacerbate that problem, they have to cause an issue. This is that issue. Just like how they took trade schools directly. Again, the main community that was horribly affected when this happened, the Black community. When they took trade schools out of the Black community, they did it on purpose because they knew that if Black men and young Black men were able to get these trades, that they were going to excel, that they were going to keep these jobs and be able to raise generations on that. And then they would also be able to teach that exact same trade to their sons, to their cousins, to their brothers. Like I said, it's a whole long list. It's a domino effect when it is that you have one Black man that's educated in the family and how it is that he understands certain things and how the trajectories for these young guys out here, and he don't want them to go down that road. Anything that he can do to help them avoid any and all of the things that he went through, he's going to do that. The United States government doesn't want Black men to do that. And the one main thing I've talked about before is that you've had a lot of people in the Black community talk about the lack of Black leaders. Right? You've had a lot of Black women specifically talk about, oh, we're the Black men to lead and all this other type of stuff. So this is number one to showcase how you destroy the ability for men in a community to do certain things. A trade school ain't hurt nobody. Right? Trade school ain't hurt nobody, but they decided to take that out. Just like they took out the trades in high schools as well. But they also they started trying to take out music. But the only thing they made sure to leave was sports. But a lot of people don't pay attention. They don't want to teach you really about finances. They don't want to really give you an education that will make you a capable, sufficient adult human being, right? But they'll make sure to sit up there and leave sports in there. They'll give you basketball or they'll give you football because that's all they want to see Black men excel at. They don't want Black men to excel at anything else. If it ain't sports, they don't care for it. Again, this is why they took out trades. They took it out of the high schools. They took it out of the communities in general. They even go to a greater extent. This is why they took factories out of Black areas and Black communities, because you got Black men that excelled directly out of high school. Some dudes got so good that they were like, yo, I'm working in a factory since I was 16. I never got my high school education because I didn't need it. Once I became proficient in this job, I didn't need nothing else. And the young dude, the older guy ended up raising families, generations directly off of that one job. And then with that job, he can also teach his sons how to also survive. Like I said, it's a whole domino effect, but nobody wants to sit up there and see really what it is. Nobody wants to pay attention to the cause and effect when it deals with any of these situations. It's crazy. Let me see. There was other things that I sat up there and mentioned and talked about going directly in the same exact line as well too. But when I look at a lot of these young Black men, I see hope. Like I said, a lot of other groups, they don't know how to spot that. They don't know what that is, especially when looking at, young Black guys out here and Black boys. They don't know what that is, because all they basically deem Black men and young Black boys to be is nothing but criminals, nothing but villains. right? The worst of the worst. But when I listen to them talk and I hear them express what it is that they're saying, I know that they're distraught. I know the world is turned directly upside down. I know they have all types of turmoil and emotions going on right now, but they conveyed themselves very great and respectfully during this interview. And even still with them trying to convey that, you will still have people trying to demonize them, trying to insert some type of negativity somewhere, which is 100% crazy to me. But as I stated before, a lot of people don't want to see black men prevail. They don't want to see them actually be successful, actually make it. Because guess what? If black men have the ability, are just allowed to just do what it is that they normally do and just excel and succeed, now what do people got to talk about? Now what the conversation is going to be? People not going to be able to talk about those stats. Oh, per capita, the crime stats, the murder stats, this and that, and stop the crime and the. You're not going to be able to do that no more. So now, if the crime and everything is going down because black men are successful, jobs are just out there and they can reach out and grab and get one or two and just have that and survive and thrive. Oh, guess what? Everything drops. You're not worried about no type of crime rates. You're not worried about no type of theft. You're not worried about dudes on the corner sitting up there selling this or that and all this stuff. You're not worried about none of that because everybody is able to thrive and survive. In order for a community to fall or fail, there has to be issues and problems. And it's specifically going to stem from jobs. It's going to stem from money. It's going to stem from the economics. And who has control of the money and the economics in this country? The United States government. Those are the exact same individuals stripping these young black men of the ability to go out there and get their lives straight on the right path. So you know now what's going to happen, right? So let's just say, and this is not me hoping, right? You got 100 and some odd ones that they basically stated were, displaced when it dealt with the whole job closure, JobCorps, closure. Let's say that some of these young men they were teetering, but because they had JobCorps, something to look forward to every single day, and they had like a thing, they had a light at the end of the tunnel. They was like, yo, I'm not going to sit up there and go towards the streets. I'm not going to go towards trying to rip and run and tear up my community just to be able to eat. Now they're going to really dive deep into what it is that, that was potentially there. Because now there is no silver lining. There is no light at the end of the tunnel. All they see now is darkness. All they see now is like, I gotta sit up there and survive. It's me versus the world. Don't nobody care about me. This is all I basically got. Like I said, this is how these situations occur. This is how these things happen. And now when you have these people out here that did have hope, but now they lost it. Now they got to go directly down a dark path. And now what inevitably ends up happening, right? They either lose their life. They're either in and out of the jail or prison system to forever pretty much go directly through that, or they end up in somebody's morgue. All three of which the United States government and many others are able to profit directly off of. The justice system profits off of the bodies of black men. The police profit directly off of the bodies of black men. The hospitals profit off of the bodies of black men. The morgues profit off of the bodies of black men. The churches profit off of the bodies of black men. 5 areas right there that profit off of the bodies of black men, either dead or alive. And people think that I'm crazy. People think that if you point these things out, then you're just trying to make yourself into a victim. No, I'm looking at the reality of the situation. Because as a black man, I understand what it is that these young dudes are basically going through. I understand how all of this works. Like I told you before, I had a multitude of options to go through different routes. I could have been out here sitting up there ripping around through the streets selling drugs. But luckily, my mom and my family and everything like that cared. And because of the type of love and everything that I was able to get there, I didn't. I also had some teachers that loved and cared. Because of them, I didn't decide to do that. Also got friends, love and cared. Because of them, I didn't decide to do and rip around through the streets. And also because I love myself, I opted not to go through and rip and run and go through my community. Like I said, I have a lot of fail safes directly there. A lot of these young men don't have those type of fail safes. They may not really have a family that genuinely actually cares about them. A lot of these young black men come from a reality of which that literally their whole world hates them. wishes that they did not exist. You got mothers that don't really care for their sons directly out here. You got fathers that don't really care for their sons out here. You got black families that don't really care for their sons out here. So a lot of these young dudes don't really have nobody to turn to. So the only love that they can actually get, the only respect, the only validation and value that they can happen to get is from the streets. It's from other guys that are basically in the same situation. So in order to keep getting that love and to keep getting that respect, they're going to keep doing what it is that they got to sit up there and do in order to get that validation, because they got something that is missing that should have been given to them when they first came onto this plane of existence. Like I said, it's a multifaceted situation. That's why I said before, beyond any other community out here, things like this are going to really hit the black community the hardest, and it's going to have a very detrimental and a negative effect when it takes place. It's crazy work. Let me see. Cave said, same here, I became a truck driver. You are speaking facts. Jam said, yeah, I don't like I said, I don't know why people want to come in here trolling and then you're going to sit up there and say something to one of the mods. Oh, that's not smart. That is not a high IQ move, bro. Why are you talking about church in here? I'm a little bit confused. I'm not even sure how we even got to that conversation, but yeah. But anyways, like I said before, this is a situation that is going to it's not going to end well. Like I said, I hope and wish the best. Actually, let me not say hope and wish. I want the best for these young men directly out here who are seeking to be the best version of themselves directly out here. Like I said, they got these young black dudes out here. They got the whole world literally against them. The world does not want them to make it, because they need somebody to always lean on to show that, oh, we're better than these people. Look at our community versus their community. Look at what the blacks do versus what everybody else, right? It's that whole thing. Because the fact of the matter is, the moment in time that you got black Americans, at least, you know, the greater majority, on a path to greatness, a lot of people are going to be mad, because now they got to focus in on self. They got to focus in on self, because you can't talk about nobody else. Literally everybody always, whenever it is that they want to showcase that their community is better, they'll be like, oh, let's do a comparison in between the blacks. Let's see what the black communities are doing. Let's look at these black run cities and all this. That's what they want to do every time. Let it be a time where black Americans get everything directly on board, just like the days of Black Wall Street. Oh, that same anger that happened back then is going to come back full force, and even worse. It's going to be worse. And like I said, during that time frame, they had the government backing them doing that. They had the military backing them doing that. They had other Caucasian Americans backing them and doing that, burning down the towns and the cities. Oh boy, it's going to be coming back with a vengeance. And you know, the craziest part is, thinking about this whole situation, is the fact that you still got a lot of these individuals out here still trying to fixate and talk about a race war. And I'm like, that doesn't even make any sense. Again, the type of lingo that they use online is not lingo that black Americans even refer to, even talk about. That's not even everyday speak for us. That's not even once in every blue moon, because we're just focusing on surviving day to day. That's pretty much where we see it, because, you know, there is an ability to see the future, but when you are black in America, your future is not promised. And those are just facts. So you just focus. Every day is basically the future, and you're happy to be able to see that future. You know, at least that's how I sit up there and look at it. I've looked at it like that ever since, let me see, I want to say about like 12 or 14, when I basically started to realize how, you know, the world basically works and how things are in a sense seen. You know, let me see. What else did we got here? Sham said, LOL, they want a race war. They in a war with themselves right now. They better be watching each other, because we not their problem. Yeah, but this is why I said before, going back to the whole thing with dealing with Europe, this is why they've always tried to fixate directly on black people, right? Black Americans, or this is why they want to fixate on Africans. Instead of them focusing in on Europe and those problems, those civil unrest, those battles and all the other type of stuff going on, they want to zoom in on the smallest group. Crazy. Like it don't even make sense, but this is what tends to happen. Let me see. Full Circle said the focus on race keeps the focus from being on the solution. Got a point.